All right, welcome everybody. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I will cover my weekly game analysis video, and that will be at the end of this video. So I will put a chapter down or a chapter marks with timestamps down below if you want to skip to that. But today I wanted to cover some other stuff. I wanted to cover a long-term, years-long goal that I recently achieved, as well as the direction I'm going to go with the channel now that I achieved this goal. So this goal I had, long story short, is a few years back I set this goal that I wanted to get an online rating that was equivalent to a United States Chess Federation over-the-board rating greater than 10 times my weight in pounds. So in other words, let's say I was 180 pounds. I wanted to then have my over-the-board equivalent rating would be 1800. And at the time I made this goal, I was over 220 pounds. So I either had to really get good at chess, and it was unlikely that I would get that, or I had to lose weight. So I'll actually link to a video up here. One of John Bartholomew's videos, I was kind of in the background in the upper right corner. So you can kind of see where I started at. Now this was from like 10 years ago or something. I don't know, but that's about where I was at when I started the goal. And recently, this last year and a half, I've been playing a lot of pickleball, and I lost a lot of weight and gotten, better health. And the reason I wanted to do that goal is I felt like, well, if I could achieve that, then I would feel like the system or the machine didn't get the better of me, didn't have me so ground down that I couldn't reach that goal, because I felt like it's kind of like a combined mind-body goal. And so, once I got kind of my weight down here, I started playing rated online chess again. I hadn't been very active at all for the last year and a half or so. I only made a couple of videos. Basically my chess consisted of studying with a high school friend that we study once a week on Sunday nights for about an hour and a half. We've been doing the USCF series. But anyway, back to my goal. Last Friday I played enough games that my rapid rating is no longer provisional. So I got off the provisional status, and let me pull that up here. And it came in a lot higher than I expected. Now, a caveat, I did feel like I had a lot of luck on this one. I had a 2260 player that didn't play that well. I had a 2080 player that hung a rook out of the opening. It was kind of tricky, but he hung it. So I don't know, what I'll be able to maintain, but for the time being, I got this rating, a non-provisional rating of 2130 in Lichess Rapid. So then if we convert that into a USCF over-the-board rating, let me switch over to screen. We can do that real quick here. So if we convert that into the equivalent over-the-board US Chess Federation rating, we can use ChessGoals rating comparison calculator. The Matt at ChessGoals is a statistician, and he collects data, and comes up with conversions. So if I put in that rating, in his Lichess Rapid, it converts to 1825 USCF. It's kind of nice because it shows, different ratings across different platforms. But long story short, it converts to 1825 USCF. And at the time I did this, and still actually, but my weight was 172 pounds. So that converts over to 10.6. So I wanted to get to 10x. It was kind of a stretch goal at the time I made it. I didn't know if I could achieve it or not. But I kind of found that by losing weight and getting healthier, I'm playing a ton of pickleball, so I feel like my cardio is pretty good. It seemed like I was able to concentrate better and kind of win games that I wouldn't like blunder at the end of the complicated games and stuff like that. And so, so then I kind of was excited that I made my goal, did a little bit of reflection, and thought about what role I wanted chess to play in my life and what I wanted to do with chess going forward. And basically I concluded I want chess to be a constant part of my life, but not an all-consuming part of my life. And then I happened to notice that even though I hadn't been making any videos, you know, for like a year and a half, I made like 2 in a year and a half or something. My channel, like my kind of my evergreen content, was still getting hundreds of views a day, and I thought, oh, that kind of surprised me. So I thought, well, some people are getting, you know, a small group of people are getting value from some of the stuff I put out there. So what I decided to do is I want to continue playing chess, but I'm going to do it, try to follow a fixed 5-hour a week schedule. And I'll pull up, I put together a website that kind of lays out some of my thoughts, my philosophy on chess, the schedule I'm going to be playing. And my plan is to play these 5 hours of chess and then make one video a week where I analyze one of the more interesting or instructive games for that week. And then I might make additional videos every 2-3 weeks, you know, like other stuff. But the bulk of it will be these weekly game analysis where I follow my 5-hour study plan. So, and as part of that, you know, I put together a website. And the other thing I wanted to kind of announce is that I wasn't aware. I never intended on monetizing my channel, trying to make any money off it or anything like that. It's been eligible for like a couple years, I think. I've had enough subscribers and view time and stuff like that, but I never applied to the YouTube partner program because I didn't want to make any money on it. I didn't want any hassle with having to file taxes and stuff like that. And then as I was looking into this a little bit, that's still my plan. I realized that if I apply to the program and get approved by this YouTube partnership program, which I did, they approved me like in a day, I can turn off the monetization for all my videos. So it's like I'm part of the program, but then I can turn it off and then you guys don't see any ads. Whereas before, when I wasn't part of the program, I didn't have any control over, you know, ads, so the ads would show up in the middle. So what I wanted to do was to shift my focus, like I said, mind, body balance, life balance, and then also make my channel ad-free, and also then maybe try to raise some money, a small amount of money for charity. And what I want to focus on is whale and dolphin conservation. So I got myself set up with a program called Games for Waves, which lets streamers or content creators get a direct link that their viewers can donate directly to charity. So I will have that always I'll pin that in the comment description, or I'll pin that in the comments for each video's description. And then I'll also have it down in the video description, and I can have it come up as an end card. So if you guys find value in what I'm doing, know that I'm just doing this. You know, I don't have a profit motive or anything like this. Everything's going to go 100% direct to charity. So that's basically my plan going forward. I thought maybe I would show kind of a few of the things I put together on my website, because this 10x goal, I feel really good making that goal. And that goal wouldn't be like applicable to everybody, because if you're a 6'4" guy or a 5'2" woman, I mean, it doesn't really, it just, for me, it happened to be my based on my height and, you know, what my ideal body weight and stuff like that would be, is those two metrics kind of combined well. And for me, that was like an important goal, because like I said, then I feel like I didn't lose to the system. But I kind of came up with another metric, and I'll pull up my website. And first I'll just kind of flip through my website and show you a couple things on there, but maybe we can start with that metric here I'm talking about. All right, so I jumped over to my website and I developed this calculator, and I call it the Mind Body Calculator. And it basically measures your combined cognitive and physical conditioning, if you want to think of that, in cognitive and chess terms. And so what it is there's a very important metric. It's your waist to height ratio. And that's very predictive of, you know, cardiovascular events and in general cardiovascular fitness and whatnot. And basically, you know, you want to try to get it so that your waist, when you measure it basically around your belly button, the circumference where it goes around your navel, to be less than half of your height. Now, I'm not quite there, but I'm, not too far off. But so I made this calculator, and the idea is you can choose what rating platform and rating you want to put in there. So, like if I were to put in mine as on Lichess Rapid, I can put in my rating, and you can put your height in centimeters or inches. I don't know what mine is in centimeters over here, but I know what it is in inches. And then I did measure my waist. And the idea is you enter those metrics in there, hit the calculate button, and it calculates your mind-body score. And so it will show you what your estimated over-the-board percentile is. And basically what that does is it converts it to what your rating would be on a United States Chess Federation tournament over-the-board rating and what percentile that was. And remember, before we converted mine to 1825, and that converts to the 93rd percentile, roughly. And then the health percentile is what percent your percentile of your waist to height ratio, or your height to waist, your waist to height ratio. And so I did some programming on that and helped use AI and came up with the formula for that closely approximates your percentile based on global data. And so that's roughly in the top third. And then what this number up here means, this 97.7 or the top 2.3%, basically it means that 2.3% of chess players, that basically chess players that play in the USCF Federation, I wanted it to be a little bit more difficult, because then that's serious enough players that they've played in over-the-board tournaments. So of those players, 2.3% would have both a higher USCF rating or a comparable, convertible rating, and a higher health percentile score. So the cool thing is with this metric, you can, instead of just focusing on one thing, you can also focus on the health metric and get that score up. And so, I know my score is kind of pumped up right now, and I do expect it to fall some. But my goal is to try to keep this score 95% or higher. Try to keep it in the top 5 percentile, and it'll give me like an incentive to keep my weight and health under control. So anyway, that's the calculator I was talking about. Like I said, I didn't play much chess after I reached my goal last week. I wanted to kind of put a bunch of this stuff together, clarify where I'm going with the channel. Like I see, I have a QR code you can scan to donate, or I have a donation link here. You can click on this to donate to the Dolphin and Whale Conservation. But I have different things on here for those that are here from the Colle content. I did put together a guide. It has a table of contents. You can use this to jump to certain things. I have a one-page cheat sheet with the Colle system. I have a link to the fully annotated repertoire on Lichess. It's a Lichess study. You can download the PGN with the, get the whole repertoire that way. I embedded the repertoire in here so you can actually move through it and play on here and see my annotations. And then I kind of made like a guide, and it kind of explains what the Colle is, the different golden rules of the Colle, when you should push e4. I have like a red light and a green light of when to push and when not to push. I think that'll be helpful. But anyway, it's a lot to go through, but I have links to like my videos that kind of pertain to those things. You can see like here I have one. I have a guide, like we're talking about attacks here. I have like a guide on the Greek gift. You can click on that. I hope to make a video on that at some point within the next couple of months. But anyway, there's a whole bunch of, resources here, kind of a guide on the Colle with the different golden rules and ideas and whatnot. And then I mentioned that I want to try to keep my kind of like a balanced approach to chess. So I'm doing a 5 hour routine. I made a PDF if other people want to download what my routine is, and for busy adults if they want to try to use the same thing. But basically, I'm going to play on the weekdays. I'm going to do 15 minutes of tactics and vision warm up, and then I'm going to play one 10-5 rapid game, and then enter some brief game analysis into Lee Chess. Sometime I can probably write an article on my process for that, and then one 5-3 blitz game with just real quick analysis. And then, so that would be 5 days a week, and that's 75% of my time is like active play and analysis. And then the other 75 minutes is split between focus study of different areas, whether it be opening, end game, strategy, what have you. For me, it happens to be Yusupov study with my friend from high school that we've been doing that for a long time. We meet Sunday nights and study for like an hour and a half to 2 hours on that. Then I also gonna have a place here where you can my weekly game analysis videos of the game that I want to go through from that week that I use this 5 hour routine. I will start, I started at week 1. This will be week 3, and I'm just going to embed these videos here. So if you wanted another place other than the playlist from YouTube to just go, and I kind of put like just a kind of a quick summary, like this was an anti-Colle followed by a semi-Slav structure, week 1, and kind of the key ideas that came up in that game. Resources, I will build this out as time goes on, but I was going to announce another thing here. Let me get down to it here. All right, so I have, like I said, I'm going to build it out, but I have links to the Colle system guide, a YouTube playlist of the Colle channels, or the Colle videos, and then the fully annotated repertoire on LeeChessandChess.com. But then I also have links to what I'm going to be playing for as black. So I kind of looked back through and thought about it. Actually had AI analyze my games, looked back through and saw what I historically did the best with. And what I did the best with black was the Caro-Kann. And I'm going to be playing the ChessGoals Caro-Kann. I'm trying to remember, my memory's a little fuzzy, but I don't know if it was about 3 years ago that I got the lifetime membership to ChessGoals, but it was around that. And long story short, I'm going to be playing their repertoire with black. I'm going to be playing their Caro-Kann and their dynamic Slav, which is basically a triangle Slav, and it often goes into a note boom where we take this grab this c pawn, d takes c, and then play b5 and hold on to it. But what I did is I reached out to Matt because at ChessGoals, and he's a chess master that's also a statistician, and he created ChessGoals to help adult club players. So these repertoires, they're designed to be manageable for like busy adults. So there'll be about 100 lines or less for the repertoire. So like the Caro-Kann will be like 100 lines. The dynamic Slav, if I remember right, it's like 90 lines. And then they have good kind of cross ideas between them. And you'll notice like some of them, they'll get similar structures and ideas. So it saves you time studying. And so yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And what I did is I reached out to Matt and I told him my plans for my channel going forward. And I tried to see how big of a discount I could get for people. And now I don't get a cut. I'm not like an affiliate or anything like that. This is just a coupon code for my community. I don't make anything. I'm not going to make anything off my channel or the chess platform here. But with code Chesimple, you can get a 30% discount on any ChessGoals courses. And these are the links to the 2 courses that I will be playing. And at some point, I'll probably make a video and talk about why I'm playing these and why they fit so well with the Colle. But like as you can see, we have the C6 here, C6 here, the Colle. We end up often playing C3, and getting similar structures where we get a lot of focus on our light squared bishops and whatnot. So that could be a good video for me to make at some point. But anyway, you know, thanks to Matt, he gave me a great discount for you guys. So you know, like I said, I just believe in their product, so I'm not getting any money. But if you see me playing it and you would like to play that yourself, that's where you can get it. I'll also put links to their programs or their courses in the videos when I cover it with the coupon code down there in the video description. But I'll link. I'll put little cards above me right now and down in the course description. They do have like some quick starter videos on YouTube for free to watch, and then also like a couple of live introductory classes, one on the Caro-Kann and one on the dynamic Slav. I think those are probably about an hour and a half long or so. And then the quick starter are shorter than that, of course. But that would give you a feel for what these lines are and what I'm going to be playing. But like I said, I think this is ideal for me to try to get what I want to get out of chess now and have a cohesive repertoire that has the least amount of demands put on me time-wise, but still lets me play good chess. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, that's the goal I achieved and where I plan on going with this channel going forward. And like I said, this one will be a bit abbreviated. I spent my week kind of getting the website together and getting the donation thing for the whales and all that kind of stuff. But I just wanted to zip forward to kind of the theme of this game is the minority attack. And this game is a Caro-Kann defense where we get the exchange variation and we get this Carlsbad pawn structure where basically we have 3 versus 4 on the queen side, and we play this minority attack. So we'll get to that when we get there in the game, but I just wanted to let you know kind of the theme of the video. And the other theme is sometimes, sometimes you can just kind of play simply and just have a kind of a overall understanding of what you're doing and not force things too hard. So, like I said, this was the Caro-Kann, and now I'm kind of relearning this after, a gap. I've been, like I said, I was focusing on health mostly for the last year and a half. So I'm going to be learning these ChessGoals openings again while I'm on the treadmill as kind of a way to get a 2-for-1. Since I'll be like going to the gym a couple times a week anyway, and for like that 40 minutes on a treadmill, it'll be perfect because I can watch like one section of their video series. So like if I play this game, I'll go watch their one on the exchange Caro-Kann, and then I kind of get like kind of bonus study in without having to spend like more than my 5 hours. Then I'll actually get more than 5 hours, but an easy way to do it. So I'm just pinning this knight. A lot of times you'll see they'll play, sometimes they might play h3 to prevent that pin. And we'll be covering plenty of Caro-Kann games in the future, and I'll even know it better. But here I'm just kind of playing on, kind of just general knowledge from years past. Playing e6. Developing our pieces to kind of just useful squares. Nothing too fancy. Now, in the ChessGoals repertoire, often what will happen is we'll put our knight on e7, and we might play for f3 and e5. And when I get one of those games where I do that, I will point it out, and I'll make a comparison to, it's a way that people play as white in the Queen's Gambit, against the Queen's Gambit Declined, where they do the exchange variation of the Queen's Gambit Declined. So, and that is what one of their ChessGoals courses, like I said, they try to have cross ideas between the different courses. So if you were to play that repertoire, there would be all this thematic overlap. And I may switch to that maybe like in a year and a half, after I really get the Colle and the Slav down, the triangle Slav. But for now, I love the Colle. It actually meshes really well with these two openings. That's one of the big reasons too I decided to play these two is in my repertoire. But anyway, that's not what I did in this game. I'm just putting pieces on, squares where they cover a lot of stuff. Now notice this is his bishop that's on the opposite color of his pawn chain. This is the bishop that's on the same color as my pawn chain. So I'm actually quite happy to just let those bishops be exchanged. You can see we're slowly rustling a little bit of the advantage. Very minimal, but we were certainly equalized here. Getting safe. Now he jumped the gun a little bit, and you notice one thing you'll notice is when people move a piece for a second or third time before they have all their other pieces developed. Notice how I have all my pieces developed. I'm castled. All of my pieces are developed. My rooks are connected. He doesn't have his dark square bishop developed yet. This knight is in front of the development of this bishop. The rooks are not connected. And he's spending a move again with a piece that he's already moved twice to get this knight to e5 to take my knight, which I have only moved once. So that's kind of, like I said, I'm not an expert on these openings yet. I just have residual memory, from a while ago. So I was feeling like, okay, that's great. It can't be too bad for me here. Now he's finally kind of getting his pieces developed. He plays the bishop there. I'm thinking he wants to try to open up my king side. But it gives me a nice little move, a knight to e4. So I get this knight on a nice post, attack his bishop. So he's got to move his bishop if he doesn't want me to exchange those, get rid of his bishop. So he backs his bishop up. And then now is where, in these Carlsbad structures, white basically has to try to go for a kingside attack. Usually you get some kind of play on the king side. And we try to get play on the queen side by advancing our b-pawn as a spearhead and trying to create a target by taking on c3. And when he takes back with his b-pawn, this will create a backward pawn, and we will try to keep our major pieces on the board and hammer down on that weakened pawn. And you'll see that's what we end up doing in this game. Now he goes forward. That basically just gets another attacker off the board, right? So now my defensive task is much easier, right? Because he's got one less piece to attack with. I'm just repositioning a little bit because he has to spend time to get, to defend that pawn. And now, it might look like kind of a weak move, but every piece that comes off, he has less of attacking opportunities, but I still have my major pieces on the board to try to focus on creating a weak pawn on the queen side. And yeah, it might not be winning or anything, but it's very unpleasant for the other side to try to just sit there and play defensively, trying to guard that pawn all the time. And you'll find at club level, most people don't have the patience to do it. And I'm like, all right, I'll gladly trade off, the last minor piece. I'll even trade off queens. If you want to trade off queens, so be it. I'm happy to do so. Offering more opportunities, also putting it behind this pawn so that I can just maybe pop it right away. Now he's jumping in this hole. This is the position we showed off the bat, where we have this Carlsbad structure, 3 pawns versus 4. And we're going to play b4 and try to create this weakness that we have something to target. Rook a to e1. We'll gladly take there. And now I penetrate with queen to b2. He is going to interpose with his rook. Otherwise, I will be eating this pawn. So he has to try to protect that pawn. Now I jump into c1 with check. King to h2. And now's where we start hammering on this pawn. Right? So now we're converging on this pawn. Like I said, it's good to keep the major pieces on when you play this minority attack, so that we can kind of gang up on it with our major pieces. Rook to g5. So it's kind of nothing hidden there, right? So we play g6. We don't want to get, mated up down here, or, have them get a good attack going. Play h4. He plays h4, sorry. Now, I had to do some calculating and determine that I was safe to take this pawn, right? He's going all in on the attack. I'm going to grab the pawn, try to survive the attack. To me, it didn't look too dangerous. I couldn't find a good way for him to get a winning position. So I take that, because I'm like, okay, we get a tempo on this. And he actually plays f3 here. And then I played h6. And my thought was, okay, he moves this rook. Then when he pushes this, I will push my pawn and just go past him, right? And this is temporarily immobilized. And so I was feeling good about this position. And then, as often happens in online chess, my opponent just disconnected. So I waited the 90 seconds or 20 whatever they make you wait, and took the victory. But the idea here was just I thought this would be a good one to show, since I'm going to be playing the Caro-Kann, and I'll be getting this Carlsbad structure. That this minority attack is something that we can use if our opponents are cooperative, if they don't prosecute a good attack. Sometimes we can just try to weaken this queenside, grab that pawn, fix that c3 pawn backwards, and just hammer up on it. So it was kind of, I played it somewhat superficially, but you can see, like, at my level or at club level, sometimes that's good enough. So anyway, that's the game for the week. Like I said, it was kind of abbreviated. I didn't go super in depth, but I think the point is to just see this minority attack, and that just making kind of just activating our pieces, offering trades when we have the better pawn structure for an endgame. Like I said, I think he screwed up. If we zoom up here, right here, like, he moves a piece twice, and when they do that and they don't really get anything out of it, so he got a knight for a knight. He got a knight that I moved once for a knight that he's moved 3 times now. I'm feeling pretty good about it, right? And then I felt like, okay, now every piece I get off the board, kind of easier for us to get this rolling. He was very cooperative. Normally they're not that cooperative. Sometimes they will, do things to try to stop the minority attack. And I'm sure we'll get examples of that. We'll, in future videos where they play a little bit more precisely and they're not so cooperative. This guy kind of was fixated on setting up a kingside attack when he didn't really have one to be had. So, anyway, that's my plan going forward for the channel. Like I said, hopefully you didn't see any ads. If you guys ever see ads, let me know. It means something's clicked wrong, but it should be set up so that none of the videos ever have ads. If you get value from my videos, please consider making a small donation to the whale and dolphin conservation. That would be awesome. I would love to raise a little bit of money for that. But anyway, we will see you next week. Have a good one.